So, ladies and germs, we are live. It's your good old mate Jace here once again for round four. Two Aussie larrikins. Jace having a bit of a chat with my mate, my brother from another mother, Mike Searles. Mike, how are you going?
Jason, greetings to you, my friend, and also to our viewers live or on the replay. But I can't let you go a step further. And I know I'm your guest and you're the host here, and I can't
Uh-huh.
commandeer your. But now I do notice that your profile.
hmm
Yeah, I do. I do.
I wonder where Mike is going with this. I'm not too sure. I have no idea.
Well, you do wear a hat in your profile, but where's your
I
bloody
do.
hat?
Are you talking about my old mate, the broad brimmed Panama hat? Now, a lot of people might have some connotations with Panama, but I'll just suggest I'm not changing my name to Carlos, and the white stuff in the bag, I trust me, it's flour. But here is the said friend that Mr. Mike is referring to.
Now you
So,
bloody leave that. Now listen here a minute. Broad brimmed Panama hat. You must have
hat.
googled that. Must have googled that because I reckon if I asked you on
hmm
camera what's the name of that hat, you wouldn't know.
You're right there, Mike. Unless I would have Googled this, I would have gone, I don't bloody know, but I'm happy to find out.
Oh, that is
So,
so good. It's good to be with you, Jason, and it's good to be with your viewers and our followers as well.
yeah, no, thank you, Mike. I do enjoy these chats that we do have. So, as a lot of people, if you're coming on for the first time, Mike and I have done this previously. It all kicked off with Mike interviewing me for the first time, and then round two, I interviewed Mike. We came back for round three where Mike interviewed me once more. So, yeah, it's been a seesaw action and a lot of fun, a lot of shenanigans. We just enjoy having a chat with one another. So it's a really informal interview that we have with one another. And we continue to do this because we just simply gel. Like I said, that's why I'm referring to Mike as my brother from another mother, because we just have a chat and we just get it. We're both Melbourneites. So for those of you who don't know, we both reside in the Principality of Melbourne, Australia. And yeah, so today, for those of you watching, and also thank you very much for those watching the replay as well. The main theme for why Mike on here today is Mike's had a change, and it's not a change of heart. It's not a change of anything else apart from Mike has been on Substack for a couple of years now, and he's decided to pursue a new direction on Substack. Mike, I know what's going on, but for those of us who are watching live and on the replay, do you just want to give us a paragraph of what you're now endeavouring, where you've come from, and now where you see your Substack tending to in the future?
Yeah, thanks, Jason, and thanks for even noticing that there's been a bit of a
Mm,
shift. And the first thing I think we should say before I explain or answer is I think there's danger in maintaining the one position, the one frame. If you look at any successful performers, either in entertainment, any celebrity, anyone with a high profile, online or offline, you'll notice that they look at Lady Gaga just for an example. Okay, now
hmm
I'm not a follower of her music, but I love the business model. She
Sure.
went through transitions and changes of her image, and a lot of performers do that. Why do I say performers? Because we're not performers, we're
Mm,
writers. No, we are performers, we are talent. For those of us on
hmm
Substack who think of ourselves as only writers, you'll stay stuck in a writer's mode, and you'll stay stuck if monetization and making money is part of your game. You will stay stuck as a starving artist, and that is fact. And so I'm not going to stay a starving artist. I do
hmm
pivot and change my direction and change my persona. This is part of it, actually. Even just the visual aspect of wearing something that is noticeable and noticeably part of your image is a part of all of that. Like yourself, Jason, wearing that Panama hat. So I did start on Substack nearly 3 years ago, I think it is, and started writing another publication, and then this publication now that I've just renamed as Star Maker. I'll come back to that, but the
Sure.
the essence of it for our viewers, Jason, is there's playing small and living small with small results, and there's playing big and living big with bigger results. Now, not everybody is on Substack to get big results, but there are some big players on Substack, some big named people, high profile names now, and they're raking in the dollars either from Substack directly through paid subscriptions or as a byproduct from Substack filtering onto off-platform sites, whatever that could be, whether it's PDFs and Gumroad or whether it's $2,000 courses on your favourite course platform. So my catchphrase here, new catchphrase, is this, Jason: be seen, get paid. You have to be seen.
Get paid.
Be seen, get paid. It's a nice way of saying fame and fortune. Fame, not as in being famous like a celebrity and living that famous lifestyle that most of us see as having more detrimental effects for the performer than anything else. We've seen Amy Winehouse, for example, and the demise of her, the sad ending of her life.
Yes.
No, I don't mean fame in that regard, Jason, or being famous, but fame as in being seen by your target audience and then being paid. You can't get paid unless you're seen. Be seen, get paid. And my whole direction now is helping people, helping Substackers know how to be seen so they can get paid.
Now, that really gives me a couple of elements to dive deep here on this, Mike. So, one thing I'll circle back to is your decision around why you wanted to change this. But for someone that, let's say, modern kids, this is very much, to me, it seems like akin to someone like Gary Vaynerchuk, who always talks about getting attention, to make money, to market, to be seen. Attention is the game. Is this pretty much in your way what you're referring to? It's about first getting attention, Mike?
It has to be. And this opens up to being misunderstood. See,
Right.
somebody who doesn't come from a marketing or a copywriting or a sales background such as mine, you're a little bit of at a disadvantage because the word attention means putting a clown nose on and doing silly things. That gets attention, but that I'll do that if that puts. I have done that, as Jason, you know, I used to be a part of my
Exactly.
background as a performer, as an entertainer, was actually as a professional clown. We must talk about that sometime. I used to entertain
We
kids, but
should.
then I'd entertain adults, and let me tell you, the adult show was very different to the kids show. But attention, strategy. Attention is a strategy. It's not an accident. It's strategy. It's a designed thing to have your target audience notice you. Because let's look at what's happening on Substack now. We've got millions of people now on the platform, and it's only going to get bigger if the predictions are right. We've got some very high-profile accounts now on Substack. Dolly Parton, John Cleese, the British comedian Jimmy. What's his last
I
name?
know who you're talking of. I'm just trying to think of his name
He's in
myself.
Australia now.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a short.
touring at the moment.
Yeah, I can't. I follow him and I love his work. But just for an example, big names. Now, how does someone like a Mike Searles stand out amongst that kind of competition, if you like, for attention? Or if you scrape away that higher echelon, if you like, of having a profile, let's put unknown Mike Searles amongst everybody else. There's the level. I'm just one of hundreds of thousands, if not millions.
Hmm.
Unless I can put my head just above the crowd slightly, using a Panama hat, yeah, exactly, or a,
Hmm.
or a Peaky Blinders cap, or something similar, as just the start of image making,
Yes.
positioning, and getting attention. So the long answer should have been a short answer. Attention, it starts with attention, but not just silly attention. Well thought strategy attention is what's required.
So what you're saying behind this, Mike, it's not, and I think this is really critically important. It's not attention just for attention's sake. Even
Mm.
before, if you're getting someone on board and you're promoting attention or helping them get attention for them on Substack, you're obviously doing a whole bunch of work beforehand. You're working on strategy, you've got tactics, there's a battle plan that you have. So then the attention becomes, in one sense, it becomes proper. As you say, like, and for those of you who don't know, for a very good cause for cancer for kids, we have a day here in Australia called Red Nose Day, which I think was based on the red nose that you have for a clown. I think is how that started so many years ago, and it's something we
Yeah,
celebrate every year. So if it falls on the right day for us, Mike, we might actually do a red nose on Red Nose Day if it falls on the right
absolutely,
day for us. I'm quite happy to
absolutely, we
sit here
will.
embarrassed with a big fat red nose on my face. I have no shame. I'll admit that right up front. I have no problem wearing something on my face, especially if it's for a good cause. But getting back to what I was asking, uh, so it's not attention for attention's sake, but it's attention with a purpose, is what you're suggesting.
Absolutely. It's Let's just switch to what writers would immediately understand,
Hmm.
and that is whether you're writing a novel or, uh, as in a published novel, uh, or a PDF, or a newsletter that goes to your email subscribers.
Hmm.
The email has a subject line. The PDF has a cover. The published novel has a title.
Hmm.
These are all attention grabbers right from the start. That's where it begins. And even the first line of your note that you publish on Substack is your attention grabber. And so that's kind of using an analogy, if you like, just to position what we're talking about for writers to understand. Everything begins with attention. Without it, for example, so my more recent background, for 10 years, I was a self-employed copywriter. And
Hmm.
so that means I wrote advertising and emails and the rest of it. And so the saying back in the day is that the headline or the subject line for an email is the advertisement for what comes next. And so how we position ourselves, this, for example, your own Panama hat there, whatever part of the image, the coming back to our Substack account profile,
Hmm.
the profile image we have of ourselves is a part of your attention grabbing formula. It starts there. The wording of your publication description, not the account profile, who I am, but and what I do, but the description of your publication, your newsletter.
Yes.
This is what it is, and this is this. Some people look. You see it. I'm sure you do, Jason. Our viewers who are with us now would see it, and those watching the replay would probably see it. We
Hmm.
see newsletter descriptions. I write about life. I mean, yeah, you
I,
might write about
yeah.
life. You
Yes.
might write about life, and that's great if you do. But if you want viewers, if you want to grab attention, that is so plain, vanilla, and bland, that wouldn't draw me into wanting to read the next thing. If I write about my experience in life overcoming suicidal depression, Well, hang on a minute. That is something completely different. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And from what you just said, Mike, and you're probably as being an ex-copywriter professionally, which you obviously still do copywriting on Substack today. For those who know Gary Halbert, he's probably the most successful copywriter of all time. And a lot of the reading I've got and information from Gary Halbert on how to do copy, in a nutshell, for me was like pretty much short and punchy is the way to go. It's less is more, and it's a driving principle of copy. Where, and again, I've seen some publication names on Substack where people say I'm a wife, a mother, a dog mum. I do school runs for my kids. I've got 3 kids. I look after soccer. I, work at the local school. I write about the intersection of life and motherhood. And it's like, I'm lost as to what this person's actually trying to describe because they're giving me their life story in their publication title. If
Yeah.
they had said that I'm a mother who writes about the intersection of raising children who have difficult backgrounds, and I'm also a foster mum at and that's literally what they say. I know exactly what they're talking about, and I know exactly what to expect. So,
You've mentioned two very important things. One, your mention of Gary Halbert.
mhm,
Anybody who's interested to know how Gary Halbert used to write, just search Google Gary Halbert letters, and
mhm,
that'll take you to. He wrote a very popular, probably the precursor of what became known as newsletters. But this was a mailed newsletter. It was before internet, really, or at the cusp of internet. The Gary Halbert letter was a newsletter that went out in the mail, and they're all published on that site. Every one of them, the whole history of them, and just read them not as Gary Halbert letters. Read them as a student of writing, and get to know the cadence and the nuance. Here's what I'm going to let you in on a secret, viewers and Jason. Even if
sure.
you don't go there, if you do go there, here's what you're going to find: personality. One word: personality. It's Gary Halbert's persona, probably more
Mhm,
correctly than personality. Personality. That's what's lacking in so much. People seem to be, of what I see, this is point of view and opinion, contrarian, somewhat controversial, might say. I see a lack of personality in a lot of writing. I don't know if it's because it's all AI slop we're seeing, or a lot of it's AI slop, but look, I say to my clients, don't be afraid. Step into that limelight, show your warts and all, show parts of your dirty washing, not all of it. You don't have to
mm.
rehash all the nasty stuff, but show, because we've all got nasty stuff.
We've all got
We
battle
all
scars.
We've all got battle scars. You've got yours, Jace. I've got mine. We've all got them. Everybody's going through something right now. Forget the past. Everybody's copping battle scars right now in life. Share a bit of that. Don't go if you don't feel comfortable going into all the details. You don't have to. Just skim across. Give someone an idea. I mentioned depression, suicidal depression there before as a
Mhm.
passing comment. That's part
Yes,
of my that's part of my background. Now
yes.
I wouldn't go all into the nitty gritties of literally attempting to take my life and being very fortunate that I've survived
Mhm,
in my positioning and writing. But I might say something if I wanted to position myself and target that audience. I might say a survivor of suicidal depression. Bang, that's
mhm.
enough.
Yes.
A bit of personality as well in the writing and in the newsletters, rather than facts and figures and bland vanilla. You can go to this Substack and read that. You can go to this Substack and read that, and the two are pretty much the same because there's no personality. There's nothing that distinguishes the two, really. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. So we're talking about a battle plan to have a format to drive attention, and we can circle back at what we do with that attention. But the other part that we're now is on a second part, which is personality. And with personality, it's you're suggesting a differential compared to bland, vanilla, and people are using either AI, and a lot of it's coming out of slop that they're publishing. A
Yes.
lot of people are
Excuse
also
me.
using AI, and they probably wouldn't realize that it's not
Excuse
the
me.
person writing, that it is AI. It is
Yeah.
becoming that clever. But one of the other main themes I think people have, I won't say a fear, Mike, to have personality. I think it's wanting to tread the path of what's happened before. And I think it's people copying other people because they see that as a well worn format and something that's worked for others. So they go, if I do this bland, vanilla, writing, then it's worked for this person who's got, let's say, 20,000 subscribers. So that's probably going to work for me. And from what I've seen on Substack for a lot of writers, this is where I think people are not shining with their personality. Because those who have got a personality, we know who they are. That they stand out like a sore thumb. But I think there's a hesitancy to use personality to really drive home their writing and take it to that next level because they want to work the well-worn path of seeing what others have done. So they think they're going to do it themselves. What do you reckon, Mike?
I agree, but I will come back to my word fear, and I'm not disagreeing with you because I just said I agree with you. But
Yeah, sure.
I do think fear is behind it, and the number one fear I think at play here is what will people think of me? What
Hmm.
Not what will people think of my writing? What will people think of my opinion? What will people think of me? This is such a
Hmm.
fear, not just on Substack, in life in general. People walking around fearful of what are people going to think of me? To hell with that. Honestly, to hell with it. If only I could take part of what I've learned in my 68
Hmm.
years and implant it in those who walk around and live life with that fear to eradicate it. Because it is such an inhibiting, uh, if that's your rudder in life, you're stuffed. You're absolutely buggered. But to get rid of it, and it takes work. I mean, I had to have therapy to get rid of mine.
Hmm.
That's why I jump on here and I say what I say. I'm not contriving what I'm saying. It's coming out of my mouth as I'm thinking it. There's no filter. Now to some people that I'm going to say something that people won't like occasionally. That's going to happen. I may unintentionally offend somebody. Some people are walking around, they wake up ready to be offended, in my opinion. To hell with them.
Hmm.
Okay? There's no intention to offend anybody.
Incoming
Not
rant.
I'm ranting. You better stop me, mate. And look, I must apologise for taking sips of coffee because you and I know we're in morning still mode here, or mid
Yeah.
morning. And I do like my morning coffees, Jason and viewers. So please excuse me for being rude and drinking while you're
No,
talking.
not at all. For those of you who don't know, Mike and I like to have a bit more of a casual type of life. So it's not a format that we've got where we're professional. I mean, I'm in a t-shirt. It's morning here in Melbourne. Mike, I think, is in one of his favourite golf tops. So
Well, it
yeah,
could
so
be a
we're
favourite golf top.
could be a favorite golf top, but I think this is something that's important, and I'll call it what it is too. Quite a few people have heard me say this on Substack. Now that I'm approaching my 57th year, it's for a long time, especially in our youth, and I've gone through therapy as well for not just what you've discussed, but for other reasons as well. And I've come to realize that I have a very vast, I'm a farmer, Mike. I didn't realize until recently I have a farm, and on that farm is a field of no fucks. And those no fucks are currently barren, which is exactly the way I like those fields. Now, sorry for such an abrupt bombshell drop there for those watching live and those also seeing this on the replay because I didn't prepare you for it. But Mike speaks of, and this is where I'm circling back to, Mike speaks of people do live a fearful life.
Yeah.
And the surprising thing I found is for those of you who are hesitant to write information or show them with your personality, especially on Substack, do it. because people don't care about you as much as you feel they may do. And that is a huge surprise for a lot of people once they realize that. Oh, what if I write this and people will judge me or make comment or tell me that I'm wrong and I don't know how to react? All I can suggest is do it. People care about you a lot less than you believe they do. And trust me on that.
It's one of my it's one of my favourite sayings. Uh, People are more interested in how they look than what or how you look, which is about appearance. You know, do I look okay
Mm,
in this? Does my bum look big in this? People don't care so much as they're more worried about what you're seeing through your eyes on how they appear. Let me
mhm.
also say, it's just not that important what we do on Substack. It's just not that important. Somewhere in the world right now, doctors are trying to save the life of a newborn baby. That's important. People are getting blown up in
Absolutely.
different parts of the world right now and losing their lives. That's important.
Mhm.
What I say on this live stream, it's not that important in the big scheme of things. Don't take it all so seriously. Have some fun. Try something new. Say something that you really would feel and get it out there and say it. And don't. All right, can we talk about confidence versus courage here because it's relevant?
Let's talk about confidence versus courage, please, Mike.
You don't need confidence. You need courage to do it. The confidence is a byproduct of courage. People think you need confidence to do something. No, you need courage to do it, and you'll see and find the confidence will come as a natural progression. So have courage, forget confidence. Don't take confidence courses; they're a waste of time and money. If you're going to seek anything that encourages you to have courage. And my I think Nike had it. Just do it. That's your
Mhm.
that's your masterclass in courage. Just do it. Just get. That's why at the moment I'm on about live stream. Exactly what you and I are doing now, Jace. Thank you for inviting me to be your guest
You're welcome.
on your live stream. This is exactly what I'm on about at the moment. If you have a look at my notes, and I've been working on a newsletter which I'm about to send off on
Mhm.
video and the relevance of video on Substack, the history, the progression, and where we're at. Uh, I'm encouraging people to have courage. For those who, okay, let's just frame this. Not everyone's on Substack to make a buck. All right, that's
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah. This
It,
is true.
you know, not everyone plays golf because they want to play the pro tournament. Right. Okay. People like me play golf because we like to have fun playing golf. Okay. So excluding those for the moment. Okay. That's not my audience. I would repel that nicely and politely, but in my framing, how I position myself, the attention I seek to get, I
Mhm.
would want to repel as opposed to attract that person who's only on Substack for fun or
Mhm.
as a hobby or because they think this is a journal where they can express their writing. Fine, go at it. But that's not for the target audience who is on Substack because it's a business model, it's a platform that helps you monetize your creative skill. That's my target audience. Now, video, if that's the person who wants to monetize their creative output and they want to use video because they know it's a part of the overall presentation, but they're fearful of it because they don't want to look stupid. They're afraid of what people will think, harking back to what we were talking about before, Jason.
Yes.
I, uh, well, how did I get onto this?
Talking about the importance of video, especially for being on Substack with video.
Yeah, I was going to make a point, now I've forgotten. See, this is what happens when you fall in love with the sound of your own voice, Jason. This
We're
this
in good
is the
company then
price
because I
you
really like my voice too, Mike. So,
see, and I'm dominating this here. Uh, now, I do say I will talk under wet cement. I've lost the train of thought. That happens. And now look, just see what I just did then. To hell with what people think. I lost my train of thought. I stopped myself. So what am I on about then? That's to. I don't care what. I don't mean it. I don't mean it like in an arrogant way. I shouldn't say I don't care what people think. I do care. Of course I do. I am a caring person. Always doubt people who say I'm on. If anybody says to you I'm honest, always doubt that. If someone says I'm a caring person, question it. But what I mean is, I don't care if people get the wrong impression, because there's people watching now. They're listening to Mike Sells. He can't even keep his train of thought. Okay, I'm human.
Yeah.
I lost track of what I was on about then.
Which is more than fine, because there's a repost on that. It's something that's actually personally been on my goat at the moment, which is I recently thought I might do a video and talk a little bit about video, especially doing something like, even if it's just a recorded video for brand new people who've never been on camera before, they've never had a YouTube channel, they've not done a TikTok, anything like that. And I thought, hey, maybe I'll talk about some of the principles like we're doing at the moment. Like there's the importance of thirds in our screen. So especially if you're doing talking head, there's importances there. And I thought, hang on a moment, before I do that, there's probably a lot of videos like that already people can go and find and look at. But I thought, actually, I think one of the main reasons that people don't do a video and post it on Substack, and especially because why they also don't do a live, is simply because I think they have the old adage of what people used to say when they wanted to start a YouTube channel, which is, I don't have the equipment. So they use the excuse of, I don't have a mic. I don't have a good quality camera. I don't have a studio. I don't have a desk. I don't have this. I don't have the other. And for those of you who don't realize, whilst you're watching this video live, and those who are also watching on the replay, right now with Mike and I, we don't have any of this equipment. We're both on our mobile phones with,
Yeah,
I've just got and having an Apple device, I've just got my AirPods in here. That's my microphone. And we don't have a studio. I'm in my spare bedroom at home where I've got a couch with a blanket on it. Mike is in another room sitting in front of his window with his curtain down. That's his studio. And we've
yeah,
gotten on here. We're not dressed professional. We don't have $4,000 cameras. We don't have $10,000 audio equipment. We've just basically flipped our camera on and we started talking. It is very simple to do. And what I'm saying is, you just strip all those beliefs away and you start at the lowest common denominator. What can I do? I have a phone. What can I action? I can hit the record button. And I very much encourage my 5-second training video for those of you who are thinking about doing video right now. All I can say is just hit the damn record button and go for it. You're going to flubber. You're going to mess it up. Like Mike just experienced, you're going to lose your train of thought.
yeah,
One other thing I can say about being on video and just taking this tact for the moment is, if you're just doing a solo video and it's just you doing a talking head and you're not interviewing someone, you will come to be very comfortable with long silences where you will sit there and you'll be quiet like that for a moment or even longer because you're thinking of the next thing to say. And only one other thing I'll say before I come to my next question to you, Mike, that I'll say about video is, if you do have a little fearful and you don't want to go live, record your own video on yourself on your own camera. Do that a dozen times. Find that you're going to go flat, 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 and flubber and trip over your words, because it will start. If you've never done it before, expect it. You're going to trip over your words. You're not going to know what to say. You're going to pause. You're going to make certain words sound French if you speak English, because you're going, what do I say next? But each time you do it, you just get that 1% better. And you've got the opportunity to review your recorded video and go, I see what I did there. That's something I can change. Mike, circling back, we are planning for raising attention. We're getting attention. We're now injecting some personality for the Substacker because we don't want to do what everyone else is doing on Substack with what you're wanting to do with training these people, please tell me, what is the next stage? What is step 3?
Can I just thank you for the question? Can I just come back to something very important you mentioned
Please.
just before that question? This applies to every one of us. Those of joining us right now live and those watching the replay or even listening to the audio replay. You said, and I'll paraphrase, what can I say that hasn't already been said?
Mm-hmm.
We all, those who still watch news on TV, we generally, when we used to watch the news, we generally had our favourite news program. And that was often driven by our preference by the reader. Because the news on Channel A and the news on Channel B, being commercial radio, TV station news, was pretty much the same. The headlines were pretty much the same. The footage was pretty much the same. The reader, the anchor, was different each channel. And that was primarily what kept us viewing our favourite news. It's the same with us on Substack. If you've got something to say about a topic and you stop and think, or doing a video, since we're talking video right now, a talking head video, solo, or even collaborated like we're doing now, Jason, don't let that idea of there's nothing I could say to my audience that hasn't already been said by somebody else stop you. Because you will find when you release persona and personality, your own, you will attract an audience that just resonates with you and they'll come back to you for more. Same news, same footage, same headlines, but it's you that's presenting it. And so they'll come back to you. So that's that point on that. Now, Jason, what's next after attention? Well, first of all, the attention specific to Substack, account bio to begin with, how you positioned yourself. How do people new to us find us on Substack? Unless they're referred, unless it's a recommendation, a subscription recommendation, that we've got that feature on Substack where we can recommend others
Yes.
to our own, and they can recommend us, and that happens, and it's a great mutual collaboration thing. Can expand our reach, but just generally, if you've got a follower, you know what? There's still people, and it's understandable, still people who don't understand the difference between a follower and a subscriber. I know you do. Do you want to tell them or will I?
You're expressing so far, Mike, so I'm very happy for you to explain the difference, if you may.
Right, very, very quickly, not a technical explanation. Someone who follows you on Substack will see your notes in their feed, but they won't get your emailed newsletters.
Mm-hmm.
A subscriber will see your notes in their feed, and because they're, by virtue of subscribing with their email address, will get your emailed content. So the subscriber, by the way, so it goes like, the flow goes like this. Note, follower, subscriber, paywall if you've got one, or some other, if the outcome is monetization. What about Anthony? Now, Anthony, Anferrnee. His publication is Solopreneur.
Yes.
Terrific publication. If you're not a subscriber and you're interested in monetization as a solo entrepreneur, have a look. I'm speaking. I know you're familiar, Jason, but to the viewers,
yeah.
I interviewed him. I had him on a live, and he floored me with what he said. He said 99% of his revenue comes off platform, off Substack.
Yes, I remember that, watching the interview.
Yeah. I mean, it just floored me, and it took me back. And of course, I said, "Well, hang on a minute. You're not going to just leave us with that, are you? Tell us where the rest of it's." His flow his funnel, if you want to use that terminology and jargon, is off-platform. In his case, Threads, which is an asset of Meta, which is Facebook. Threads, Substack, Gumroad, digital products. 99% of his revenue. How much is he making? Can you remember? Can I give you the quiz question, Jason?
Oh,
Can you remember how much he earns per month?
I think you got me there, Mike. It wasn't one that I had as a lock-in answer.
Lock this in. Monthly recurring revenue, $10,000 US. $10,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and 99% of that's coming from his Gumroad digital products. And yet he's prolific on Substack. Now,
Oh,
I can't
he
remember
just
why.
has an immense amount of information. He's all
Oh, it's
over.
terrific.
I can't open Substack and not see Anthony either with his feed. And being a subscriber, I think he's still doing two articles a week. And he is the definition of crushing it on Substack, even though the majority of his activity is off Substack.
Yeah. And if you want, I mean, you can like it and guess how it all works, and or be ego driven and think I don't want to copy somebody else because I'm a brilliant thinker and I'm going to do this all on my own and maybe win, but probably not. The path of least resistance would be to model somebody who's already doing it well. Maybe not 100% to everything they do, but certainly get the structural ideas. You could follow Anthony, follow his model, subscribe to him, just as one example. You've got some excellent stuff happening on Substack, Jason. I love what you're doing, and I'll come back to that if you'll permit me. Remind me, because I want to come
Absolutely,
back
I
to what
will.
you're doing. So
Yep,
I've
I will
been
remind.
paying particular attention to what Jason's doing with his Panama hat. But attention, where do we go now? We're talking about attention. Oh, that's right. So it begins attention, account profile, the picture, the image. To have a look at what that's doing. I'm not a fan of an account profile with a logo, or worse, just the generic default blank. I mean, again, if you're just stuffing around on Substack and you don't care what happens next, yeah, fine, just leave it at that. But if you've got a business model in mind, if there's a direction and a purpose, and if it's revenue, I mean, if you've got a business model, you can't have a business model without revenue. I mean, we're in it to make money. Is money a dirty word?
Only if you believe it to be so. I mean, one thing that I've been trying to bust for a very long time, and this is just a quick intersection here, is the fact that it's dirty to earn money if you don't have a regular job or run a brick and mortar business. For such a long time, it's been if you're doing one or the other, that's legit. But if you're doing it in the other way, then it's dirty money. And that's a philosophy I've been trying to kill and nail down and get rid of for such a long time. And it's not just me, many others are doing that too. And I can't believe, to give you an example, I still hear people that say, oh, if I'm buying a digital course, that's a scam. It's like, okay, I'm not sure where you've heard that story. I'm not sure where you've acquired that belief, but it's not correct. I'm not going to say it's not true, because truth is different to everybody, but I am going to say and back this statement to say it is not correct. So, Mike, we've got attention. We've got our personality. We're talking about building a format based on the attention foundation. So, circling back to profiles, yes, I think this is now where you're talking about strategy. So, we're
Yeah.
starting with we've got our profile. And if you've got a picture of you, and hopefully it's not a picture that you've stolen from your own LinkedIn platform, profile, sorry, because I really don't want to see people's LinkedIn photo on LinkedIn, Substack, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, etc. That's just not personality to me. But it is even worse where you've got a generic statement, this is who I am, and some sort of logo or symbol in there and not someone's headshot.
Absolutely. And so when we're talking about, so under the umbrella of attention, begins with your
Mm-hmm.
profile, it begins with you, and then it's your publication. Uh, Let me tell a quick story of who was the singer tragically died in a helicopter crash, American, sang Country Road, Take Me Home.
John Denver.
John Denver. Righto.
Mm-hmm.
What, you tell me, if I can quiz you, what was his persona presentation? What comes to mind when you think of John Denver, the image?
Checkered shirt, clean cut look, not a comb over, but his hair in a nice format. Well, a part, I should say, is what his hair
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
That real for an age of the mid-20s, that all American look, I think is what
yeah,
it was called. The real
yeah,
clean face, clean shaven, looking to one
yeah,
side, big smile on the face. Straight away, that is the very first thing I think of with John Denver when
yeah.
I'm looking at his let's say photo profile. That's the
Yeah,
first thing that
photo
comes to
profile,
mind.
his image. The
His
image, the
image.
image that comes to mind. So, not by accident. Uh, how do I know? Because I've studied this a bit, studying. So his promoter was Jerry Weintraub, someone I've studied,
Mm.
and blah blah blah. Jerry Weintraub, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, huge names he's promoted. Okay, image. Uh, what was his name again? The guy we're talking about,
John Denver.
John Denver.
Hmm.
To begin with, you got the hair right, but it was this low comb down fringe. They call it a bangs these days, but we call it fringe
Hmm.
in my day. Blonde hair, straight, large wire frame glasses,
Hmm.
and the schoolboy look. Now
Yes.
that didn't happen by accident, and it was used perpetually. And it's what now what happened was John Denver and his promoter Jerry Weintraub had a fallout. To
Hmm.
cut the story short, Denver wanted to go on his own, and he sacked Jerry Weintraub as his promoter. And upon sacking Weintraub, Denver changed his image, changed his hairstyle, changed his glasses, changed his whole persona image. The audience had got used to this,
Hmm.
the attention of this. They'd got used to it. And when it changed, what do you think happened? Do you think he went up or went down?
I would imagine initially after sacking Weintraub, he would have gone down.
And it stayed down.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, he went down in a helicopter and lost his life, but that's not related. But uh,
Hmm.
so there's something to be said about positioning. I mean, I use this. Is this how I live? No, I don't. Do you think I sleep with this on? Do you think I do, do you think I shave with this on?
Okay,
No.
I think you've just shattered the image of three people who do think you sleep with that on, Mike.
I put. The only time I wear this now, it's on these live streams. I don't even wear this
Hmm.
out in public. But I I I had it on for the I can't remember, and I had it on for my image profile image. Yeah, my profile image. I had it on, and I was on a live stream earlier, and some bloke, some person kindly said, "Mike, I didn't recognise you without your cap,"
Hmm.
and I straight away thought, "Aha! If I'm not recognised without the cap, that's a potential risk. I want to be recognised." So that's why I now wear this. Now, what does this mean? This is all Mike Searles centric at the moment. So let's put it
Hmm.
into the language, Jason, of your viewers who are joining. This is your
Sure.
live stream. I'm your guest. What's something you could do with your profile image that makes it you? I mean, I'm not going to suggest anything. Well, you suggest it.
Make it unique. I mean, I could certainly have, a photo like this. I could take a capture right now, and I pretty much look like everyone of a similar age, those who are 50 plus, uh, shaven or with a beard, glasses, short hair, and I look like the majority of other males on Substack. It all changed the moment I put on the Panama hat and crack a smile. and I make it unique.
Absolutely. You've just hit the nail on the head. Just something like that. I've got this cap. You've got that hat. Does it have to be a hat or a cap? No. It could
Absolutely
be.
not.
It could be glasses. Somebody I interviewed had on a live stream last year. A girl. When I say girl, I don't mean that condescending. She's just younger than me, so she's someone in
Of
her 20s.
course,
So to me,
yes.
she's a girl. Beautiful, bright yellow, I think they were, rimmed glasses. I had to say, oh, those glasses, they're so good. They really make you and your image stand out. Keep those as part of your profile. It could be the colour, the background. I've seen some great now you don't have much space to be unique. So it's got to be something to do with, well, the frame that people are viewing you and I in now. It's the backdrop. Maybe it's a shirt or a top that you wear that you have every time. Okay, that's profile image. Okay, so we've got an account on Substack and we have a profile image and we have our profile description, which is who am I and what am I about? And when we write who am I and what am I about, we keep in our minds that we're writing to the question that the reader has in their mind unconsciously. What's in this for me? What does this person have that I can relate to that might interest me? That's where it begins. So you're right there, Jason. Earlier you mentioned about account profiles that mention everything from I started on mother's milk and and I'm 45 now and now I'm a whatever. No, one or two things, and then okay, let's skip to the publication description. The banner at the top of the screen. I think it's called the word mark.
Yep.
Or something similar. Give thought to that. Have a look at some top publishers on Substack and look at what their word mark, their banner appears like, and get some ideas. Don't leave it blank, and don't just have something that's, if it's plain text, at least make it look pretty with some colour. Now, the wording of the description is more important than anything else.
Right.
That's really where the what's in it for me. This publication is about. This is what it's about, and this is what you'll get. That's really the publication description. That's all about attention. And then let's move now to content, because that's the question, Jason. If I get you right, what comes next?
That
Well,
is my
what
next
comes
question,
next?
yes.
Okay, so two questions. What do I want as the publisher, and what do I want my audience? Don't think of them as readers anymore. Think of them as your audience. In fact, think of yourself as a rising star. A rising star on this platform. That's who you are. You're not a writer. You're not even a publisher. You're a rising star with an audience. They're not your readers. They're not your viewers. They're your audience. What do you want your audience to get from you? Two questions to really get clear, and then start writing from that to that, from that to that, and keep it. I use an 80-20 rule or 70-30 rule, 70 or 80% on purpose with who you are and who you're writing to, because you've defined that, and 20 or 30% of other shit, other stuff that like I bought an apple the other day and it had a worm in it. The worst experience ever, and thank God I didn't swallow the worm. That's about everyday life, but make it slice of life stuff, and add in some opinions and points of view. I'm not sure whether viewers you can still see or whether we're still live.
Yep, we're still live, Mike. We're still going.
You still
Slight
with me,
technical
Jason?
difficulty. Yep, we're still going. Yep, we're still here. So Mike's just having a little bit of technical difficulties at the moment.
Yeah.
Mike, can you hear me still?
I can actually.
Yeah,
I thought you froze. Is unstable. Righto. Okay, it's at
yeah,
my end. I do
that's all right.
apologise. Typical Telstra here in Australia.
Yeah, I
Right.
believe we've got you back, Mike. So yeah,
Righto.
we still
I
have
do
audio
apologise for.
going. So you had just to do a quick catch up. You had just expressed about the 80-20 rule with eating an apple and having a worm in the apple.
is that is that is that where this has got to? Is it?
This is where it's got to.
Oh my goodness. Um, 80% on purpose. Who, who, who you know you are, and who you know your audience want you to be, or what
Hmm.
their interest is. And then
Yes.
20 or 30% just slice of life stuff. There's somebody who I follow, we both follow actually, and she publishes notes on slice of life, and she probably averages 40 or 50 engagement likes on a note. Now, likes don't pay you can't take a like to the electricity power company and say, I'd like to pay my bill with likes, please.
I was about to say, likes don't keep the lights on.
Like, oh, mate, can I write that? I've
Let's
got to
write this
write
one
that
down. For
down.
anyone watching here live, make a note of this right now. And
Yeah,
for those who have got the replay, you've got it recorded. It's likes don't keep the
likes,
lights on.
likes don't keep the lights on by Jason in the Panama hat, mate. That is bloody brilliant. But it's true. What pays the lights? What keeps the lights on is money. Money
Mhm.
that you've got in the account that you can pay the bill. And that's why, to me, money is not a dirty word. I'd love it if we all lived on a kibbutz where money is irrelevant, but we
Mhm.
don't. Most of us. I wonder if we've got anyone viewing. Wouldn't have internet on a kibbutz, would they?
No, because they wouldn't have money to worry about spending.
There you go. Righto. So where are we at now, Jason? Because I'm starting to prattle and rattle on, and that means that
That's all
piffle
right.
and dribble.
No, that's fine, Mike. As we do head towards our close, we are doing
Yes,
a recap. And again, even though we have repeated this, it's worth saying for those of you watching live, and thank you for everyone also who's watching the replay. We are, if you're only just catching this part now, Mike and I are talking about his change, or more of a different direction for Mike rather than a change for him on Substack, where
yes,
Mike previously used to talk about all things PDFs, and
yes,
he's now moving and transitioning to becoming one to help Substackers with their accounts in the sense of garnering attention, having a format to derive that attention, having a format for your profile so you become a bit of a showman or showwoman,
yes.
injecting a change and bringing out the personality of you in your Substack, the format for everything to do with your account and your style of notes, your publication, and probably even if I've got this right too, Mike, the format for articles is that part of the regime as well?
Format for articles. Do you mean structure?
Just this in structure and particular formats that you could suggest to them as to the structure of what they should be publishing.
Well, you know, I want to say yes, but there's a little bit of a caveat because if you start following structure and like I think of structure as in writing copy, for example.
Hmm.
There's certain formulas, and that they become quite predictable. Maybe not to the general population, but to those in the know. I would like to think that someone who's thinking about structure is they write without structure to begin with, and see if they create their own structure and style, because starting with a
Right.
mechanical structure that is, say, from a textbook on how to write a newsletter, you may be actually hampering your own natural style that could even be better, and it could hamper your own personality and persona. But I just want to say, mate, about the PDFs. Now, the pivot, okay, my pivot to Star Maker on Substack, and now I'm heavily into video. I've been playing small, but not accidentally. It might seem like I'm a bit of a dumb dill brain person who's doing everything on the fly. I rarely do anything by accident.
He's not.
Just about everything I do is done for a purpose, and the PDFs. So my first PDF I published in July last year, and I've had over 500 sales and downloads on my Gumroad store. So what are we in March now? That's 8 months. So from zero to that, over 500 sales and downloads, it's a verification that I believe anybody can do what I did when I published my first PDF and continued publishing. In fact, I've got a PDF on my Gumroad which shows people exactly how to do it, exactly what I did. And so that's a stepping stone. So I always had it in mind to start small and to show myself as small. And to some people, 500 download sales on Gumroad isn't small, but in the bigger picture of planning, it is small. It's a stepping stone. You actually said that, I think, stepping stone.
Absolutely.
Some people see it as a pivot. It's more like a progression and an evolution that's been planned. So I'm stepping up to another level. I'm actually going to be repelling again. It sounds mean to say I'm going to repel, but it's a marketing concept that I really learned from Dan S. Kennedy, one of my mentors as a marketer. In fact, he's the one that taught me how to write copy. Attraction marketing is as much about repelling those who aren't your target market as it is about attracting those who are. And that's quite deliberate. So I'm now stepping up a level to Star Maker. I'm attracting a different audience once again. Star in the making audience. There's that phraseology again. And so coming back to you, Jason, because I wanted you to remind me of something, and I'm so glad you didn't because I've just remembered myself. Let's just get off Mike Searles, even though one would think that's my favourite topic. But you have been doing some great things on Substack. I've noticed you doing a little bit of a pivot, not so much in profile, but in content and voice. Tell us what you've been doing and why.
Very quick recap for those who are not aware. I started Substack with expressing and having a desire for showing others basically how to get into side hustles. And even though I've done quite a few side hustles myself, some very successful, some just tragically horrible and just didn't even get off the ground and make much money at all, I actually had a bit of a moment of clarity and I'm like, who am I to show others how to do it directly? So the pivot for me was very simply show, don't tell. It was literally those 3 words. So in concept, my personality is coming out where I'm like a mad scientist and I'm cooking up stuff in the lab downstairs in the basement and expressing and showing people what I'm doing with my experiments rather than telling them what's happening or how to do something. So the pivot has been, and I've got an article coming out very soon that's basically going to show all the experiments I've got, what's currently under production, what's currently in operation, and future projects to come. So the pivot has been the main driver is yes, I certainly like to, and to use that dirty word again, I do want to make money from Substack and outside of Substack. But the main driver is I'm also having a lot of fun with this. It's like, if I can just show people my journey and what's going on, again, as you say, Mike, I am naturally going to be expressing a vibe who will attract a tribe.
Yeah.
And that's what's very important to me. And
that's another good one.
So with the pivot,
attracting a vibe that attracts
vibe that attracts your tribe.
Oh, mate, I'm glad that'll be in the show notes.
And again,
That's
this
another
one is
proof.
also going to be the opposite of what you're suggesting there is you need to repel for those you don't want to tell.
Yeah, right.
The vibe attracts your tribe to repel against those you don't want to tell.
You know
So,
something, Jason, what I've noticed about what you're doing? I've noticed more of a willingness to be Jason and have and express Jason's point of view and your opinion. I'm seeing that. Well, I don't believe it was so much that way a number of months ago. I'm seeing it more now, and I love it. And that's the sort of thing we're talking about.
mhm,
Not being fearful of expressing an opinion. Have a point of view, have an opinion, express it without fear, have courage to do so. Some people, when you have an opinion and you express it, not everyone's going to agree with you. If everyone agreed with us,
100%.
well, what a boring world we would live in if everybody agreed with us. But you will certainly attract those who do agree with you and want to hear your opinions more, and that's what it's about. So, mate, I'm putting myself back in your hands because this is
Yeah,
your show.
absolutely. I was just going to say, and just as a tail end of that, I do have a lot of notes. A lot of people will read and go, "Oh, that's a pretty challenging statement that Jason's putting out there, expressing an opinion." And it's simply because I do come across a lot of notes that seems to be a format for a lot of people. To give you an example, somebody might say 37% of those over 50 are starting a side hustle or a business. And it's like, well, hang on, come back a step. 30%, 37% from where? Where did you get that figure from? You haven't expressed it. So is that a made up figure or is that something actually you have derived from a bunch of technical papers that you have seen on the internet and you've just not expressed that, which is, and either is fine. I'm not challenging the person. So
Mm.
for those of you who read my note, please understand I'm never challenging the person. And it might seem that, well, hang on, the intent of what you're saying seems to be challenging the person. It's no, I'm expecting the same of me from others. I'm challenging the statement. It's something that's been done as a claim, and I'm challenging the claim. And it's simply because I want to understand. If somebody goes, "Oh yeah, no, it was espoused in an article in Forbes," and I went and did the research, and I spoke to 57 people who were over 50 who were running side hustles, and they even determined my own number was around 35%. Happy days. The claim's been clarified, and I'm very, very happy that's been espoused. Even if it's just between me and that one individual who's saying it, they don't need to say it public. So, Mike,
Hey, Jason,
go right
just
ahead.
just sorry, mate. I know you're about to close, but on that,
Hmm.
if somebody came back at you, you've made a claim, you made a disagreement. As you said, how did you say it? You made a comment or a expressed a
Claim,
point of view about it,
comment, opinion, point of view, what have you.
right? About a topic and not about the person.
Hmm.
If if a person comes back at you publicly or privately, uh, and accuses you of being offensive against them, would you apologise?
No.
Nor would I.
And I'll clarify why I won't apologise. If they are saying you're being offensive, it's like, um, have you actually you've if somebody says, "Oh, I don't like we said you need to apologize," then to me that just means they've read my statement. They've not read and understood my
Mm.
statement. If you read my statement, the statement may come across as offensive. Generally, if you read and understand my statement, it's okay. Jason has made a statement or he's expressing an opinion. It is something of his doing. Now, the intent of that message is I feel like I'm being personally attacked. But if I read and understand, is that actually his intent? Is that what he is doing? If you then understand that my statement is I am not challenging you specifically, I'm not calling out and going, Mike Searles, I believe you to be incorrect. You're wrong. See, the word and what you read and understand is very, very different to, hey, Mike, you're suggesting 37% of those over 50 plus is I'm challenging the statement, not the person. Huge
Mm.
difference.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's why I wanted to clarify that and say that's why I will not apologise, because I'm not attacking the person. I'm merely putting forth a statement or a question. What you're saying, I am just asking, do you believe this to be factual?
Excellent. Well put. And Jason, I know this is not just guesswork. I know there
Hmm.
are people on Substack who would tremble at the knees at the thought that somebody might come back and accuse you, the writer, of being offensive, or even tremble at the knees, God forbid, somebody comes back and disagrees with you. Uh, so many people just fear that, and it doesn't have to be that way. I won't
Hmm.
say it doesn't make sense to me, because that would be a bit
Totally.
arrogant, but
Conversely, I everything I write, I am an open book in that regard, Mike. Please, by all means, if you see a note of mine or an article of mine, and you want to challenge me, and I I expect it to be respectfully. The intent might come
yeah,
across as brash and
yeah,
honest and everything else, which is more than fine. I have no problem with my
yeah,
written words being challenged, because if I read what you're saying, dear viewer, and I understand what you're asking, dear viewer, I will go, very, very interesting point. My belief is now being challenged because I'm choosing it to be challenged. The person is not actually having a go at me. They're saying, Jason, do you believe this statement to be true? And I actually thank you, dear reader, for asking me that question, because I
yeah,
might go, you know what? I've believed something for such a long time. And you know what? I might not be correct about that belief.
yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
very, very comfortable with that.
Can I recommend a book, and then I'll shut up. Uh,
Mm,
I'll recommend I
please.
recommend a very good book for someone who fears speaking their truth.
Mhm,
The title of the book is Radical Honesty, and the author is Brad Blanton, Blanton. Radical Honesty by Brad
mhm.
Blanton. For those who tremble at the thought of speaking their truth and then being challenged for it. It'll change the course of your life.
I'll keep that one in mind too. So for those, if you do get an opportunity and you get to read the book, yeah, come back and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Um, Mike, round 4, we're done.
Mm.
We've hit the 12th round of this particular robust discussion, as we always have. So for all of you who've been watching live, if you're still around, thank you for coming this far on the journey with us today. And thank you also for those who've gone all the way through on the replay. Mike, I'd like to thank you once again for joining me on this journey, now our 4th time. Absolutely no doubt, Mike and I enjoy this process as well. So we'll have a round 5 where Mike, I know without a doubt, will be asking me some curly questions and probably some challenging statements, which I relish and look forward to. Mike, as we finish up, what is it you would like to let the viewers know about what's happening with this change of journey for you?
Well, just thank you, Jason, and thanks for inviting me onto your show today. And we will have round 5, and we've gone the full spectrum from breastfeeding to worms in apples and everything in between.
We certainly have.
Yeah, no, look, I'm grateful for the opportunity, really, to
Mm.
join you on these live streams. I do enjoy them, and I look forward to number 5, and I'll certainly put my thinking cap on, literally, to come up with some probing questions. Um, I just invite people to read more of what you do, Jason, to follow more of what you're doing on Substack, your notes especially. And if you have a chance, have a look at my own as well. And if you're not already a subscriber, please do subscribe to my free
Yes.
newsletter and email, and you'll get
Please
some ideas.
subscribe to Mike,
Yeah,
please.
thank
Yeah,
you.
it's
And you'll
very
get some
worthwhile.
ideas to step from behind the curtain onto the stage and into the spotlight, because all of Substack is a stage, and all writers are merely players. And I must
Hmm.
apologise to Bill. William Shakespeare for plagiarising and for that
Sorry,
terrible
Bill.
hatchet job. Yeah, sorry, Bill, if you can hear us from wherever you are. But yeah, all of Subbies is a stage, and we are merely players on it. So if you're going to play for fame and fortune, get seen, get paid.
Now, final note, we have expressed the vibe, and all we are saying is the vibe will attract your tribe. Thank you to all the live viewers and all of you on the replay who have joined us today. It's probably been our longest one, and it just feels like we could go for another hour. But as it is, all good things must come to an end. Until the next time. So it is goodbye from me, and it's also goodbye from my brother from another Mike. Mike, thank you once again, my friend, for joining me on this one. And as we've both expressed, mate, I do look forward to our round number 5.
Likewise, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you on the next time.